Hi there. In this video, we're going to show exactly how a form submission can be set up. We'll go through some of the variables at play. We'll conclude this with a test submission, pushing the data over to Dynamics, including an email and seeing what the form workflow email looks like on Dynamics. I hope that made sense. I'm not sure if it made sense out loud, but we will certainly see if you hang around. Now we're going to build a very quick form, and I'm going to do this quite fast, but we're going to add a full name, an email address field, a telephone field as well. I'm going to save my form, and we're pretty much there and good to sync. Now on my test student record here, I also want to stipulate a preferred method of contact, and we don't currently have one of those fields, so let's choose to go ahead and map that. Now we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go to integrations, and we're going to tell Gecko, whoa, we actually want to capture information from this. So method of preferred method of contact. We don't have a field to map it to in Gecko, so let's tell Gecko, yeah, cool, well, create one, please. I'd like you to be a drop-down single choice because it's the same type of field. And I do want to import the list of options. Really, really simple stuff. And that is now tracked. We have that all set, and we can add that to our form really, really simply. Now, the nice thing about the form is this is currently going to sync when the contact's updated, because we're telling Gecko, when you get a value in the full name field, save it in the Gecko full name contact field. And on the page we were on just a moment ago, we're telling Gecko, if you get a value in that full name field, here's the attribute to push it to in the contacts table on Dynamics. So it's very, very simple to do that. Of course, you can circumvent that. Of course, you have flexibility to say, you know what, just today, I don't want you to push this value to the contact field. Instead, I want you to push it to this field in Dynamics or whatever that may be. So you do get field by field customization as well as global account customization. Finally, actually two things to point out. Firstly, by default, the form won't be set to sync but automatically, but you can say as soon as that response comes in, absolutely push that information over to Dynamics. And a good example for why you wouldn't want that on all the time, some folks might say, well, you know what, we've at the beginning of our form, we're going to say, are you a current student, a parent, or a prospect? And if they say they're a prospect, that's when we want to push over the data. But if they say they're a parent, we're not that interested. So let's actually kind of illustrate that with a bit more of a robust example. So are you and we'll say, we'll just keep it a bit more simple, student or parent. And in Gecko, in the workflows, we can stipulate and we can say the conditions here. If in the field RUA, if that is equal to student, then and then, only then, we want to immediately sync to our CRM, and it's Dynamics that we want to tell Gecko to sync that to. Lastly, the final workflow that we want to add here is just a really quick example where we send an email to the student. I have no idea what that template is going to be, so we will see when we send it, but we want to send an email to the student as soon as they complete the form, and hopefully that will push over to Dynamics. So let's fill this in. We're a student because we want this to sync, and in fact let me pull in the information here. This is apparently my name. Isn't it weird and wonderful, the wacky test submission details and credentials that you managed to dream up? And for the preferred method of contact, let's say fax. I don't have a fax machine. Let's say email. Perfect. So we're syncing that. Because we said that we were a student, we should be trying to sync this response, and that it will probably, well, that will be doing its thing now. So I'm going to pause this just for a moment while we push that over to the student. In the meantime, you can see that I've been sent that email. There's a couple of QR codes, no idea what they do. Probably don't be brave enough to scan those if you're watching this. And let's just see. Okay, excitingly, Gecko has now synced that. It took a wee while to push across because we were sending an email as well, but we have the Dynamics ID, which Dynamics has returned. And if we hop over to Dynamics and we refresh that page, we'll see that our preferred method of contact is now saying email. we also have that transcript of the email that we've sent. We can see the subject line and the email as well. So as you can see, there's very little we've had to configure to get that working, but that should hopefully give you an illustration of the kinds of things that you can do with the integration.